What is going on with y'all, man? In this video, goddamn, what is the title of this video? We will never know how deep the rabbit hole truly goes, but this is what we can know. I have been on a search for truth, the purest and cleanest truth, the purest and cleanest facts. And like I said, over the past 48 hours, I have tapped in a little bit deeper to my global knowledge, conspiracy theory research, things about the world banking system, Illuminati this, Bilderberg group this. Is Donald Trump tied in with global elites, dissecting the Charlie Kirk assassination a little bit more. And the one thing I must ask YouTube and the government, if y'all plan on goddamn assassinating me, at least send a warning. And I promise I will heed that warning. Because I am American first. I want to continue to see America be strong. I want to continue to see the people in this country be strong. I want this country to not get invaded by China or any other foreign enemy. And it seems to be that America has a lot of foreign enemies. But it also seems to be that America is tied in with a lot of foreign interests, other countries. The banking system, the monetary system, war, military, all of these things align. You look at the secret societies and the bloodlines, all of the videos of all of the other people that have really dedicated their mind and time to sharing this shit with the world. Me, a little bit different. I tackle spirituality a lot more rather than just worrying about the system. But that yearn and that thirst for truth is what it keep you in that loop and going down that rabbit hole. And of course, we will never know certain things. It just will never happen. We'll never know what another person is thinking, what they know, what they've been through, first and foremost. So you can really get it out your mind that there will ever be any type of truth ever fully revealed or disclosed on this planet. Again, what can we know for certain? The natural laws, the Kabbalion, occult principles, hidden spiritual, energetic principles of this world. So to lay it all out a little bit more before we dive into this and talk about God, the creator. What is God? What is spirit? What is energy? What is life? Before we get into that, I want to lay out one very, 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 very big conclusion that I've come to over the past 24 hours. It seems to be that Russia and Vladimir Putin are the ones that really go against the Jews. It seems to be this. This seems to be the case. Rothschild banking system, all of the families, Warburgs, Sassoon, Rockefeller, all of these elites that have come together, and 9 times out of 10, Jewish heritage and bloodline. You'll see all of your presidents in the United States have some type of tie with them. Great Britain, same thing. UK, it's all very much a global thing going on. But then you got a country like Russia, and you got a clear example of a country like North Korea, full dictatorship, full on blocked from the outside world. They don't let their citizens have and know all of the information and things that's going on in this world. They worship their governor like a god. Literally, that governor is a demigod. Kim Jong-un and their family, they use demigod programming to make the people worship them. It's not like that all around the world because we have a little bit more freedom of information and freedom of religion, freedom of spirit. Boom. So you get China, Russia, North Korea, all these superpowers, right? Israel, America, the UK. What I learned and what I discovered was basically that Vladimir Putin is in tension with the Rothschilds, with the Jewish banking system. That's why they plot to take him down and bring his power down, because Russia is a huge landmass. Russia has a lot of power if their citizens were to be all on board and their military was to be strong and all of the things. I'm not as well versed in Russian culture as I am in American culture, but their population is not as big as ours. Their language and their GDP, their economy is not as advanced as ours in China and other places. And they seem to be not even able to beat up Ukraine in a war because Ukraine is getting money funded from America and Israel. They all backed and supporting and helping each other. Now you see the drama on scene with the president of Ukraine and Trump and the vice president. Who's to say what's real? Who's to say what's organic? Who's to say what's just for show? What I can tell you is that they manipulate the fuck out of your brain cells through what is called the polarization dialectic on this planet. The political spectrum, pole, comes from the law of polarity. meaning that there will always be an opposite side to debate. And they get you on that with being a liberal or a conservative. Now, let's just take those words and break them down as not just a political party or ideology, but liberal just means free. Liberal derived from library, derived from liberty. So it means freedom. It means less authoritarian restrictions. The founders of this country were calling themselves libertarians, but then this split, okay? Then the modern day, you have the left wing party, the Democrats. They're the liberals. They're the free minded. They're more peaceful. They want more communism, more community, as opposed to the conservative side, want more conservation of traditions, conservation of family, God, the values, Judeo-Christian values that this American land was founded on. That is the conservative side of the fence. And of course, those two ideological extremes just stem into sexuality, lifestyle, how many kids a person should be having, sexual orientation. And these are the type of things that has everyone clashing against each other. And all throughout American history, go Democrat, Republican, presidential this, presidential that. Like I said in the last video, this country will never be as strong as it can be with a two-party system. That's why I believe they will continuously roll out propaganda, mass polarization psyops to continuously divide this country, create more infighting, create more division between the rich and the poor, and essentially get everybody on a pro-American, conservative of traditional American values side. All right. Russia even came out and said that they believe that Donald Trump has something to do with the Charlie Kirk shooting. That is extreme meddling and propaganda into our zeitgeist. For a Russian government to be making a claim like that on our president in this country, that's extreme. That's going to get everybody thinking. It furthers the polarization. All right, so again, the reason this book is so important is because it is not here to create a new doctrine or a new religion. That's actually what everyone has been in this world, is indoctrinated and religified into thinking and believing a certain thing. This book, these laws shed truth and light onto every aspect of everything you could ever think of, envision, and imagine. It simply solves it. It simply decodes it. It simply shows you the cause, which is ultimately unknowable. But the effect that we see is very apparent. And then even other causes within our microscopic life are very knowable, you know? But then the outer whole totality of life, God, what is God? Allah, the Lord, the Creator. Let's tackle it. The above illustrations of the meditation and subsequent awakening from meditation of the all is of course but an attempt of the teachers to describe the infinite process by a finite example. And yet, as above, so below. So the all in this book essentially describes all. All is vibrating, all is spirit. All is a reflection of the Creator, which is the all. This book does not put forth a new doctrine or any new bold claims on what created this world. It calls it the all, the indwelling spirit. That is what we all are. Hermetists know as the law of paradox is an aspect of the law of polarity. The Hermetic writings are filled with references to the appearance of the paradox and considerations of problems of life and being, are constantly warning the students against the error of omitting the other side of any question. Half-truth. All truths are but half-truths. So if you stuck on one side of the pole and you're not observing the other side of the pole, you are stuck in the illusion of the half-truth. All right? We're going to get to the bottom of this, why it's important, how to use it in your life, how to apply it, and how to benefit and live and strive with this information. And also how you're manipulated and how the higher ups and elites just inevitably use this information because it's just laws of the universe. But through confusion and through obfuscation, a lot of shit can be twisted and manipulated. Obfuscation basically meaning taking certain words, flipping it, making it mean something else, aka work. You're told that you have to work. You gotta go to work. That is a motherfucking communist and fascist ideology. Work, work, work. Life is work. Work is effort. Life is effort. It takes effort and action and will to survive. The all is spirit. But what is spirit? My annotation, spirit is mystery, mysticism, esotericism. Spirit is energy. Everything is spirit. The all is God. Everything is God. You are God. I am God. We are God. The animals, plants, the sun, the all. It is the all. The term God is just something that's been given to it. But the all is actually the most evident of what it is. I had this question many weeks ago. The biggest question or the biggest thought is, how are we not God? What evidence would show you that something above this created us rather than us being the things that created this, and we move and run in this system, operates and goes off of our control, our thoughts, our will, our action into this realm? Theologies tell you that. Because a theology versus a religion, two very distinctly different things. A theology is the personification of God. A religion is really just something that holds your mind back from thinking outside of more. That's truly what the term religion is. It's derived from the Latin term religare, meaning to tie back or thwart from forward progress. So your religion, if you look at it like an action, you're religioned. You're tied back. You can't grow. You can't think outside of that religion. You can't escape it. As opposed to a theology, which comes kind of second under a religion. It's theo, meaning God, spirit, ology, the study of. So it's your perception of it. It's your identification of that God, of that thing, of the all, of whatever created this that we're all living in. The all is spirit. But what is spirit? This question cannot be answered for the reason that its definition is practically that of the all. It's a paradox which cannot be explained or defined. Spirit is simply a name that men give to the highest conception of infinite living mind. It means the real essence, the substance. It means living mind, as much superior to life and mind as we know them, as the latter are superior to mechanical energy and matter. Spirit transcends our understanding, and we use the term merely that we think or speak of the all. For the purposes of thought and understanding, we are justified in thinking of spirit as infinite living mind, at the same time acknowledging that we cannot fully understand it. Boom. This book is an agnostic book. Agnostic people basically accept and understand that there is some creator, some divine force, some spirit, but they don't identify or say it's this versus that. Now, Gnosticism is very compelling to a motherfucker that just want to say fuck it. Because Gnosticism says that earth and matter and God is all evil, and that we're just trapped into these souls and these suffering, decaying bodies in a world of seeming conflict and pain and a bunch of crazy shit going on. And our goal is to transcend out of it through knowledge and salvation. And of course, the Satanists and the mind controllers and rulers of this world simply give us, like Gnosticism, Christianity, Allah, Muslim, Buddhism, Jewishness, praying, thinking peaceful things are going to happen, thinking life is going to be good, while they use dark Gnosticism to completely take over and destroy and kill all living beings on this planet. Amass resources and come together as secret society hierarchies where they control the world. Simple as that. You also saw that Vladimir Putin motherfucking revealed the image of Black Jesus. Why would he do that other than to stir the pot? He is a pot stirrer. Recently, I was just listening to the CIA agent Andrew Bustamante. I fuck with Andrew Bustamante. I listen to a lot of his content, and it definitely has helped armor me mentally, just giving me a lot of perspective, because again, I cross-reference so much information, so many things that I see. I was recently listening to him, and he said, oh, and I love the people that say, oh, we have God-given rights. They're violating our God-given rights. And I'm just like, damn, he just made a mockery of the anarchist, of the abolitionists. Now, this nigga is a former CIA agent. I do believe that he is not necessarily working for them no more. I think he is pro-America. I think he just brings pure truth and raw facts. He lays it flat out saying the U.S. government is not for you, the individual. The U.S. government is for the land of America and for the U.S. government. All right? He's started mocking the people that talk about God-given and natural law rights. He said that your God-given rights that you accept are not the same God-given rights that everyone lives under. I'm like, no, That's the confusion. Without people understanding that any violation of another human being's rights, hitting them, assaulting them, taking away their property, trespassing, is some shit that is just not good. And it'll never lead to anything good. That's the thing. We all want to live in this world for our raised children and have a happy life on earth, but the earth is slowly being destroyed and eroded. The people that are in charge have no reason other than violence, calamity, slavery, and destruction for the things that they do, for the way that this system goes. For all of the good and the peak experiences that we have within it, there's a lot of evidence to how absolutely fucked it is for everyone, no matter who you are, what side you fall on, unless you're lucky enough to have been born in America or a system where you can make money. I guess the Palestinians just get the short end of the stick in this situation. So that's why the laws of morality are objective, truthful, mathematic laws that we have been lied to and told not to look at, not to think about. We've been confused and given a false history and all type of American education, and our rights slowly get taken away. You got the Thomas Jefferson or George Washington or whoever made the quote back in one of the founders of this land: "He who will give up safety for freedom deserves neither." And again, actual freedom is the absolute antithesis of control, slavery, government. Freedom over here, anarchy, no government, all of us to be free on this planet to go do whatever the fuck we want, however the fuck we want to do it. Instead of that, we have government. It's as simple as that. It's no percentage or slice in which you have government and freedom. But the government can grant liberty. But of course, if you go to prison, then all of your freedom, your rights, your liberty, everything is gone. You're literally accepted as a slave of the system, of the state. But modern day English and the citizens are not looked at as slaves. But again, what happens when you remove the L from slave? Save. So you have to save yourself out of slavery. This shit even says it in Napoleon Hill, can't think of the dude's name, Power of Awareness, Neville Goddard. It literally says your own mind is your activation, your journey, your path out of slavery. It's almost like slavery is an inherent opposite on this planet. It is an inherent polarity on this planet. Slavery is an inherent polarity on this planet. And the opposite of that is freedom. On this side of the pole, slavery, government, police, military, banking system, rules, permits, man's law. On this side of the pole, anarchy, abolishment of government, no system, no police to listen to, no permits to follow. Simple as that. I am agnostic. I've spent a few years of my life simply just battling between light Gnosticism and dark Gnosticism, as I'm sure most of y'all do. But most of y'all probably don't even know to apply that term Gnosticism to it. Gnosis, Gnostic, it just simply means knowledge. So whatever knowledge you have of God, Jesus, salvation, the trilogy, God, the Father, Holy Spirit, it is your gnosis. Now, if you are on the light side of it, if you believe in God and is a happy God that made this world to be good for us all to live and thrive and create and live abundantly, then you're on the light Gnostic side. People that view this God as a dark, evil entity and look at this world as a dark place, souls, prison, fighting, controversy, conflict at every turn. Therefore, what's the need to share truth? I'm going to just use this truth to manipulate and kill and win over the other citizens in this world. That is a dark, Gnostic, satanic mindset. I'm not here to tell you one is right, wrong, good, bad, or evil. I'm saying over here on this side is just going to continuously be creating a world of chaos, as opposed to over here, it'll ultimately lead to creating a world of order, the peace, the goodness, the freedom. All right, boom. And again, I'm always be doing this because this shit is all about polarity. Shit is all about scales and poles and spectrums. Always opposite side, the degree, it means the rate of vibration. If it's higher, then it's higher on the spectrum. It's more this than this. You got hot over here, you got cold over here, you got warm in the middle. I want y'all motherfuckers to stay warm, because if you hot and cold on any subject, they got you. All right, and let's move a little bit further into this. Boom, blam, blip. The Hermetists believe and teach that all in itself is and must ever be unknowable. They regard all theories, guesses, and speculations of the theologians, metaphysicians, and priests regarding the inner nature of the all as but childish efforts of mortal minds to grasp the secret of the infinite. Such efforts have always failed and will always fail from the very nature of the task. One pursuing such inquiries travels around in a labyrinth of thought until he is lost to all sane reasoning, action, and conduct, and is utterly unfit for the work of life. He is like the squirrel which frantically runs around and around the circling treadmill wheel of his cage, traveling ever yet reaching nowhere. At the end, still a prisoner and standing just where he started. No growth, no evolution, no transformation, no alchemy. If you're trapped on the fucking cycle of trying to figure out and be right, you must release the need to be right. I will tell you this though, you're always right. R-I-T-E, your belief, your electromagnetic thoughts, what you think, what you bring into your world, what you manifest, what you create. As the God in your world, you are always right. In all ways, you are always right. Even if you're doing wrong by somebody, you think you're doing right. Therefore, you always are right. The Kabbalion. Thank this simulation for that book. Because now we can get deeper in this shit. Now we can really dissect, because we know that we don't know. And we know that we'll never know. And we know that we'll never know how deep the rabbit hole goes. So the reason the conservative party right now in America is splitting even more is because they realizing that Trump is not for the Constitution of America. Trump is for Trump and his interest. And his interests involve a global regime, a global system. All right. And then for even America to continue, we must ultimately drift more to a one-party system, or this place will literally implode by infighting, civil war, people crashing out, left versus right. Now, everybody, it's hard to find people that are not on the left versus right paradigm. Actually, I do come across a lot of people, even though they are not trying to observe and get to the bottom of things the way I have. They just kind of say, fuck it all. And I think they will even fall in the category of anarchist. I am not an anarchist, y'all. At this point in my consciousness and my life, I want to see America be strong. I don't want to see this place get fucking invaded. I want us all to essentially individually be strong, because the freedoms that we have in America is damn good. So let's really take this game, this life shit from a higher level. I do believe in reincarnation. And I'm not here to tell y'all that you should reincarnate the fuck off of Earth and get to another realm of perfection, because I'm not here to tell you if that shit exists. But ultimately, within this human experience, you must control your emotions. You must stay in that middle point. You must stay mentally disciplined and strong and courageous and at all times throughout this shit. Applying the laws of the Kabbalion, again, like I say, it's always going to be a truth. It's always going to be somebody telling you this is fact. So I'm watching the Jubilee, and they are fact-checking the conspiracy theorists at every claim that they make. Who fact-checks the fact-checkers? Who creates the facts? If they're not laws, then it's really not a fact. The fact is a half-truth. Automatically, I swear to God, math is laws. Therefore, 2 + 2 is 4 under the mathematic law of what is correct. Now, is the earth flat versus round? I promise that is the very deep polarization on this planet. I tend to lean to the side of flat, but I'm still looking for all evidence to convince me that it's round. There's people telling you that Elon Musk is not going to space, but he's either going to the outer lands, which are called Mars, or he's shooting the rocket ships up trying to destroy the firmament. I don't know the nigga. Either way, it's something going on fishy that's going on behind our eyes. The veil is clear. The veil is clearly there. Even though the veil seems to be thinning, I'm pretty sure they got a lot more layers of confusion and shit to keep us all wrapped up and involved and fighting and picking a side, guessing, speculating on what's true, speculating on what's what. So again, I talked about the conservative movement. Trump basically signed a deal with a company named Palantir to bring forth even more mass surveillance and government authoritarian control on this planet. A lot of things that the libertarians, the conservatives, the traditional, the MAGA, a lot of things that they're against. But Trump is clearly siding with the global technocratic elites. And it's in his best interest to do that. It's in the best interest of our country to do that because China been did it. So to compete, to fight fire with fire, you must use fire. You cannot use water to fight fire. You can. Actually, that's what they do. But you cannot bring a knife to a gunfight. And essentially, that's what America will be doing by not filtering out the undesirables on this country through a social credit score, through people being stuck in polarization. And if they gonna crash out and not just focus on money and self, then that's on them. Not realizing the truth of this planet, not realizing the truth of this division scheme. All right? So, yeah, it's deep, y'all. It's very deep. But even if, hey, I have nothing to actually tell y'all what to do or how to do it. Only thing that you should do if you're asking me is stay in control of your mind and your thoughts by using occult knowledge, hermetic teachings, having your chakras aligned for your personal life. Because when your chakras is disrupted, that just means you thrown off by something outside of you. Something outside of you has triggered and fucked up your emotions. And that comes down to what you believe and accept in your brain. So if someone else's reality is clashing with you and your shit, then your chakras is all out of balance. You're out of control. Someone else has manipulated and you've kind of relinquished control of your energy to them. All right? Because that's all this shit is energy. That's all this is spirit. This is a spiritual realm. This is a spiritual thing that we're doing. Everybody has their own vibratory energy and resonance stemming from their thoughts, stemming from their aura. Then how they affect you, you got to have that psychic self-defense to be able to deal with it. So again, we will never know how deep the rabbit hole goes, but this is what we can know. Again, you got quantum physicists that'll tell you uncertainty is not the exception, it's the rule. And once you accept that, you can really be free to create and manifest and stay in the present moment. That is true. I believe that. That is very true. I agree with that statement. But what the quantum physicists get wrong on that aspect is that no, there are some things that are certain, and they're called principles. They're called the principles of natural law. They're called the mathematic certainty of right versus wrong. Violating another person's human rights, if he's standing there and you assault him, you just violated that person's rights. That person has the right to defend and kill you because you violated their rights. That person has the right to fight back with force because you violated their rights. Now, you see clear examples of ICE in Chicago. Look at the mockery of Charlie Kirk's death. This dude is fighting for some sense of freedom, has that on his shirt. Look at what they're doing in his hometown right now, having ICE agents there cracking down on young white and black people. All people that's trying to fight and go against the government rule and what they saying to do. ICE, military, standing armies with guns and armored everything. Heavy military equipment. Y'all know that it costs like $40,000 to equip one army soldier? And it actually may be like $200,000 if I'm being really honest with that number that I know is in my head somewhere. $200,000 with all of the equipment and armor, guns, this, that, the other shit that they have on them just to go and protect and police citizens, or quote unquote protect and police the city. But now it's interesting because you got the own mayor and governors of Chicago and Illinois saying, nah, we don't want ICE. We don't want the military here. We don't want them coming to Chicago. Chicago is good. Chicago is safe. This is not some gang land. This is not this. We got it over here, right? Then Trump able to overrule this, that, the other. Hey, man, again, he who will give up freedom for safety deserves neither. And according to that logic, that's exactly where we are at worldwide. Because if the whole world, like I said, if China and their citizens have already laid down and accepted mass extreme authoritarian communism, because they got an example of North Korea to look at of how good that shit benefited society, hardcore dictatorship, America is only going to have to drift in that direction to be able to compete on a global scale. We cannot continuously have infighting. We cannot continuously have people polarized and debating and going against each other at anything that's not pro-America. If it ain't America first, then essentially that shit is going to be slowly taboo to say and talk about in this world. And that may take a process of 50 years. That may take a process of a lot of psyops, a lot of motherfucking mass polarization, a lot of civil war, a lot of people dying, a lot of crazy, wild, fucked up, and socially engineered triggering events. Y'all can do all the conspiracy theory research y'all want on how Charlie Kirk died, all the numbers tied into this, that, the other. Erica Kirk being a pageant and a winner in Trump's Miss America competition. These things are known as coincidences to the average thinker in public, but to conspiracy theorists or an occultist, you see it as synchronicity or some controlled chaos. Ultimately, we will never know how deep the rabbit hole goes, but this is what we can know. Worldwide, we are under governmental authoritarianism. Don't get confused when you hear words like tyranny or authoritarianism on the rise. We're already under it and have been under it for a very long time on this planet. And in America, it is increasing at the most rapid rate. But the thing about America is we have the most freedom of speech, freedom of guns, and freedom to protect ourselves. So we are kind of the last, if you want to look at it as the people versus the government and the ones that's trying to take over this world and this planet, we are the last resistance toward it. You see in the UK, they protest and having the hugest protest in world history. You see Andrew Tate want to get in government and create a party. I guess, but essentially you fighting for slavery. You're fighting for better conditions of slavery, better conditions of government, as opposed to a whole full abolition of government. But most people benefit so much off this monetary system, the safety that we live in this world. People got families, kids. Some of y'all probably got families and kids. You looking around confused at what side to pick, what's right, what's this. It's all wrong, according to natural law. According to the mathematic laws of morality, it's all wrong. So don't ever think nothing about it is right. It's all backwards, fucked up, and in full violation of natural law. God's law, the law of spirit, right? But of course, it's people that'll tell you that that's wrong or that that's not the case. It's people that'll tell you that, nah, nigga, that's made up. The laws of morality, that's human. That's 3D. That's some made up, fictitious fantasy. How can you apply that? How does that have any real life proof or application? Well, simply if you had 10 people on an island and 3 of those people told the 7, hey, if y'all don't do what the fuck we say, we're going to hit y'all with these rocks. They have the option to either say, huh? No, I'm going to hit you with my rocks if you hit me with your rocks. Or they got the option to say, okay, please don't hit me with those rocks. I'll do what you say. Same thing as if you got 2 3-year-old kids sitting there playing and one just started wailing on the other one. A responsible adult will come in and say, hey, stop violating that baby. Stop hitting that kid. So this same concept, this same logic applies to the whole grand scheme of the human culture on this planet. So that's the way to start. That's the place to go. Because the term culture, human culture for one, is the culture that we're all in. It is the culture of humanity. It is the culture of talking, getting along, energies, personas, egos, clashing, all of this shit. Now I'm trying my best to lay out the natural law of things and the truth as best that I've come to study and what's most evident and apparent of how this social, global, economic, and war dynamic goes on this planet. And rather this bitch is flat around. All of those things are just here for you to pick and debate between in your own head, and then ultimately must come to some conclusion with self to help you sleep at night. You, soul having a human experience. So the game is a lot more mental and it's a lot more cosmic, and it involves a lot more of you staying strong and in control during this chaotic ride, this chaotic life journey. It is all up to you. You have every single option to steal your mind, to ground yourself in this human physical body, and control yourself throughout all of the chaos. Your only true control is how you react to the things that happen around you. Of course, what you do, but how you react and how you respond is going to really dictate and go show you how your life goes. From the individuals that you deal with, from the information that you come across, cell phone, the news. And that's the thing, y'all. Let's really try to limit our distractions. I'm going to continuously post. I'm going to continuously get my thoughts and my energy to the camera. No filter, full Monty. Because it's just, I get a lot of these downloads, thoughts, understandings. I also have a lot of psychological and mental tools to help y'all advance your life. on a social and spiritual level to ultimately limit self-inflicted suffering, I think is the goal of what we all trying to do here. And I hope and pray that truth and logic and substantial evidence of what is going on this planet and what is going on in this reality and these laws, with the laws of the Kabbalah, and I keep looking down at it. But I hope that it can benefit y'all as much as it benefits me, just to release control, gain control and release control, the ultimate paradox. Because to release the control of always trying to be right, to release the control of always needing to know what's going on, to release the control of always having to check your phone, check the news, prove somebody right, tell them that your point is the correct way. Like, say you sorry, say you love somebody. Just release the energy, release the need to be right on these worldly social issues, because there's so much that we'll never know, including religion. That's why I'm here telling y'all now, I am agnostic. I was a dark Gnostic. Then I go back to light Gnostic. Some days I look at this creator of this planet as a good thing. I look at Earth as a paradise. I look at how much the bounty of an abundance of all the things that we can all do and achieve and see. And other times I look at it as a soul suffering pit of humanity, tears, sadness, depression. But it's only what you believe and what you see that creates your reality. As soon as I kind of came to that conclusion, that understanding that I truly am agnostic, I really don't lean toward either side. The GG philosophy still applies. So it was a great download in my life. It was very freeing, very liberating. Again, Gnosticism, you can only truly achieve that salvation, that mental freedom through knowledge. So when y'all are on this knowledge walk and looking at shit, looking at videos, podcasters, people, books, YouTube, make sure you're always cross-referencing. Make sure you're always comparing a half-truth with a half-truth, because that's what it is. And you have to come to the middle to create your synthesis to help you sleep at night. I promise, I promise, I promise. CTRL, continuous truth realization. All right. With that being said, I love y'all. Stay godlike.